Welcome, everyone, to today's episode of Talk Exchange. Today, we have with us another awesome guest. It is Jean-Pierre Fallou, who is not only an Exchange Club member, but also created the Exchange Education Portal, which I'm sure a lot of you have been using. So not only does he have a really cool name, he also has a really interesting background. He lives in Las Vegas, he's a coffee farmer, and he worked at Microsoft in the early 90s. So this guy has a wealth of information, and today he's going to talk to Christy and Tracy all about technology, how it can help the Exchange Club, and how it can help other service organizations as well, and how we can really take advantage of technology to make our lives better, more efficient, and so on and so forth. So we hope you enjoy today's episode with JP.
Welcome to this episode of Talk Exchange. I'm Tracy Edwards, National Exchange Club CEO, and I'm joined today by
Christy Lindahl, Director of Communications.
Awesome. Christy, this is our 20th episode.
I can't believe it.
I know. It's been so much fun. We've met so many amazing, interesting people. I know we recorded an episode for the first few episodes where we talked about our favorites and some highlights, and that was fun. I feel like we should do that again.
We definitely should. That was a good time.
And it's hard anymore to talk about which is the favorite because there are so many that I've enjoyed and loved for different reasons.
We've covered a huge array of topics, things that are related to, exchange, obviously the convention. I was just about to stumble out, but, we've talked about things that just affect people in the workplace and their personal lives. And I'm really proud of what we've been able to offer so far.
I am too. I'm excited about the feedback. We get really great feedback from members of Exchange Clubs nationwide and people who didn't know that we exist. It's fun to be contacted by those people. And in fact, I've enjoyed too that I believe every one of our Exchange Club districts is advertising it in their newsletters and highlighting an episode. So it's good to see which one they pick up on and which one they want to focus on. So it's been great. As always, I'm excited about today's guest. We've had the opportunity to get to know this gentleman so well, and I just have the greatest respect for him, and we always have a lot of fun with him. We're joined today by Jean-Pierre Fallou. I like to say his full name. He's known to us as JP Fallou. He is the president and CEO of Kolena. Very interesting person because he has this company that has designed our education platform and a lot of different things. But also he's a coffee farmer and does a lot of interesting things. He's based in Las Vegas. So welcome, JP.
Well, thank you, Tracy and Christy. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Good to see you in a different setting. We see you a lot, I feel like, but it's good to see you here and to learn more about you. So, we feel like we know you pretty well, but we want you to tell our audience, tell everybody about you and how you came into this business that you landed in now.
Great. Well, thanks for having me. It's been, this is kind of my first podcast. So, so it's kind of thing. And I've been listening to some of the other Talk Exchange things that you guys have been doing. So it's been fun. And I've actually been drinking my drink and I have my Ohio State cup. So,
good.
There we go.
Yeah.
Can't get away with it. Can't get away from it. So it's been pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Career has been really interesting. I got exposed to exchange back in 1969, of all things, from a guy named Hal Worthy. And he ran the St. Patty's Day Parade back in Laguna Beach, California. And he was the exchange president as well as the parade administrator. And he ran our Explorer Scouts. So for almost, 5 years, we worked together. And we ran the parade together with our Explorer Scouts. So he kind of involved us and a lot of us kids in community service and those type things. And so it was kind of fun to get through that. But what was good too is I got involved more with communications and computers. And that launched my love for, that whole spectrum of, gadgets and stuff. Joined the U.S. Army and in the communications piece and got out of that and went through my career and ended up at a little company called Microsoft at the time, back in the early 90s. And it wasn't so small. It's not so small now, but so that really got me going from a career standpoint in technology and software and those things. And then eventually you just fast forward, and I think it was like 2021, we got introduced to Exchange. So it was kind of a full circle of exactly coming back around and say, I know these guys, where are they from? And when I started talking to Tracy, my partner, and we started looking at it and saying, hey, yeah, it'd be great to do something with them. So it's from where I was, from a technology gadgets, went to executive, and now back to doing programming and courses and those type things. So it's been a lot of fun. So it's a perfect time for me in my career and where I'm at, and being able to give back and do that.
And we appreciate your giving back. You were a generous sponsor of our recent national convention, and we appreciate your support and your sponsorship and just your the way you take it so personally. It's a really great partnership. So thanks for your investment of time and heart and effort into Exchange.
Very welcome. It's been fun.
Absolutely. The Exchange Education Portal, just coming off of convention, we hear so much feedback about everything we've done throughout the year. And one of the biggest pieces of feedback I received was about the Exchange Education Portal and how much people enjoy, the videos and the simplicity of it, how easy we make it to deliver this information. So, thank you on behalf of all of our members as well for all the work you've done into that. Where do you envision this product taking Exchange clubs? What do you see the Exchange Education Portal doing for our members?
Yeah, great question. I think it starts back to where we started like 2.5-3 years ago, is how do we take the portal and where it's at, right? And bring the clubs to the next level of technology where, technology is going. I mean, we obviously know technology and people are spending a lot of time on artificial intelligence. They're also spending a lot of time on coding, and, our lives have been much easier and easier and easier. And one of the things that I found when I started on this project with all of you is really how do you bring people together, right?
Yes.
How do we bring people together, and being able to take different ideas and different thoughts, and really started creating kind of an online member community itself. But at the same time, I was talking to Leif, last November when I was in October when I was in Billings, Montana, and he says, we got to get away from the why, but how do we get to the how? And it's he was reading our book on what we were doing in Exchange Education, because that's exactly what we're doing. We're teaching people on the how to build a club, how to do different things. And we're showing different individuals on how to take best practices from this person to that person. I don't think a lot of the members understood of all that what was going on. But as we've gotten more into it, and especially during the first part of our journey, it's been great, because we've gotten a lot of feedback on the education portal itself and how it works, what doesn't work, and then being able to take that how and bring it to that next level. And that was kind of that whole thing behind that.
I like that because, our goal always at the national headquarters is to remove the obstacles from people who put these things up as roadblocks or reasons why they won't become a club officer, because it's cumbersome, because it's difficult. And so we've made it so easy. And that's our whole goal, is to make it easier for a person to step into a club leader position, and then to help them be more efficient and effective in that role. And this product just guides them in that way. So it meets that member where they need to be, so that they can say, I can do this job without it being so cumbersome and taking up my whole life. And, those are a lot of the reasons why people don't step into these leadership roles. So we're really making it truly easier to cultivate leadership and helping those people become more efficient and effective in their role.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at how people are growing and developing with this product. I've seen the communication increase, from one coast to another.
Exactly.
And JP, that's one of the things that I think is most valuable about our partnership with you. It's not about just getting this project done. It's not just about releasing this product. You have a way of looking ahead and saying, this is how it can be used in the future. This is what we want to do with it in the next year or two. It's always a breathing, living project to you.
Correct. Yeah, and it's exactly right. I think what we've done is you're starting to see that in some of the courses, especially in the courses around district directors and secretaries. You're seeing people commenting about the course itself and actually helping us improve the course. And we never saw that before, because I think back in the old days, I did it also. We used to just read PowerPoints or PDFs, and that's what we learned. But we never really understood what was going on in other parts of the country, in other clubs and different things. So when I was there at the convention, it was really cool, because as soon as people started understanding, oh yeah, you do the education portal, and I said, yeah, and I said, what would you change? And a lot of things, it was just people liked the community of it. It was this being able to share really the best practices and having a variety of and resources that were from different things, right? And as we continue to build this thing, I think people will be really happy. And when Christy and I had our session there in Phoenix, we could see the eyes light up of exactly what we had and where we were going, because people are seeing that, we are going to that next level.
Well, we are. And we talk about the benefits of belonging to a national organization like Exchange with the national network. So you have, say, a person who's sitting in a club in Idaho and they have no idea that any of us exist, right? There are other clubs, that there are districts, that there's a headquarters. And then they get on this education platform and they see this whole world where they can be connected. And it just showcases the importance of being part of something that's bigger than a club in a community.
Exactly. And I think too, it's, as you go through it, take fundraising as a perfect example. And, I've already gotten some good ideas, especially from the Chico Club and Michelle, where we can take that course now and show people on how, not just reading words or listening, but you can actually see an implementation of what goes on. And then more importantly, comment of what's going on and how you might do it in your community itself. Because one thing that we do have found is that every club has a different culture, right?
Yes.
There are different members, they do different things, but we have to build that online also in our persona. And you can do a combination of both, but the basics are still there. So it's still sharing those ideas and then and going from there. And the other one I was talking to is Joe Telpino out of the Veterans, he was doing the Veterans Matters stuff out of the Carolinas. And it was just fantastic, because we were just going back and forth, and he says, yeah, we can do this and that. And then all of a sudden we started getting another member involved from California and Nevada. And he says, well, we should be doing this. And so it's good. And I think that's what we need to continue on going. And that's where it's going to excel, especially getting new members, because a lot of our members, that are coming in are of that generation where they're using computers all the time.
Absolutely.
Those type things. And they're looking for different things, and sometimes they're looking for different snippets in different spots, not the exact whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So JP, we got together, I believe, around when we were coming out of the pandemic, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So during that time, we were only one of two service clubs who had a virtual convention, and we had like the full weekend virtual convention. We worked really hard on that. And so our colleagues in the service club industry really noticed that as well. Then fast forward to 2022, when Exchange grew our membership here in the United States, and we were the only domestic service club to do so. And really, we did that likely because we could keep people engaged throughout the pandemic, because we immediately went to the virtual space. Did you see too that technology was so important in keeping people together during that time period?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, I think I think it allows a lot of us just to be able to see people's faces, to see what they're doing and where they were at. We saw a lot of different things from a technology standpoint too, where people wanted to still be connected. I mean, we couldn't have that water cooler conversations, right? Where before we had, and now we couldn't, but we had to have it. We did it online. And I think where Exchange came about, where you still had that connectivity with the people, right? You still were able to put plans together. You still were able to put best practices together and sharing those things between yourselves. And I saw a lot of that, especially since I'm out of California, Nevada, and happening in those particular areas. So it's, it kept the membership stable, but at the same time, it allowed people to come in and say, hey, yeah, you guys are embracing technology itself and seeing it, and you're using it. And, as the industry gets better, what's super exciting about Exchange is that we're using the technology and we're making ourselves better too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what do you see as next steps? What's your vision for the future?
Yeah. So for us, I think in the group, as we go, if you look at what we've done, we've just done it from exchange education, but the things that we've all been working on from a technology standpoint has definitely been of people looking at the member resources pages and the documents and the libraries and all that stuff. If you look at a lot of the courses that we've done and we rely back on a lot of documentation in paper, right? People can't just, you can pick up a phone or you can pick up a mobile phone and see the PDF or something like that. But there's really no comment that you can feed back to whoever created that and say, hey, can you do this or can you do that? And I think from an exchange standpoint is we're open to that, right? We're looking for that feedback. We're looking for those courses that really make a difference because everybody is different, right? So it's back to that member engagement. It's the creating different groups, and the groups could be anything from fundraising groups to district groups to talking about how do we retain members and those type and all those things, and then the programs of service also, and then having those discussions around that. You couldn't do that without the technology that we have and that we've built at the National Exchange Club.
Absolutely.
Right. And then on top of that, what you do is you tie in the social learning piece to it, because we all learned back in a classroom when we were in high school or college and we talked to different folks. Well, we don't have that luxury here when you're in a service club. You can do that when you go to a club meeting and you have your meetings once or twice a month. But, how do you really learn of what happened in Chico, California, all the way to Toledo and what they did? So in a social learning environment, what we've created for the National Exchange Club is that portal that allows that interchange of different things, right? That's what's exciting about everything. We're starting to take advantage of some of the artificial intelligence things that are out there from a standpoint of how do we create a course, right? To where it's more intergaging back and forth with people itself. And I think that's really good. And then also doing podcasts, right? So in addition, people sometimes can't get to the computer or stuff, but they can actually listen to it on their phone, right? So why not listen to a course on your phone of how to be leading as a club president? And so now you can take that course, then you can actually say, hey, I've taken that course and this is what I took, this is what I had. And then it automatically goes back to them and says, hey, what did you think of the course? And so you have interactivity back and forth, So I see that's where we're going, and membership will increase. I mean, as you start talking about these different courses and the different things that we're doing, it will start resonating with people too. So.
Well, I'm glad to hear you mention that whole catalog of resources, really, because that's why we jumped into the podcast space, a different way to reach people who, for whatever reason, this is their preferred way of learning, engaging, being entertained, whatever the case may be. So I'm so proud and excited that we can offer our members so many different resources and so many ways to learn about exchange. And I'm glad you mentioned AI. In fact, I was on a website or a webinar this morning for the industry about AI for associations. So that's definitely the kind of the next wave for us.
Yeah, and to piggyback a little bit off of what you said, JP, we talked about the connectivity of members across the country. It made me realize, listening to you, that connectivity has also happened from the headquarters staff with our membership.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we've really been able to, through Zooms and, all sorts of the different technologies, social media, everything, we've been able to get more familiar with our membership and what they're looking for, what they want in their communities, and how we can help provide that. So I'm completely on board with you, JP. I hope it only gets better and better and better.
Yeah. And I think you're starting to see too, I mean, just Google exchange clubs, and you're starting to see more and more exchange clubs show up on social media. I mean, it's all the work that we've all done for the last 2 years. I mean, it takes a long time on Google and Bing and those folks to start elevating your clubs, but we're starting to see clubs, I'll use my good friend Ardale out of, Fontana, but a little club that was sitting in a little city in Fontana, California, and you Google and you'll see his club right then and there. And he talks about the parade and all those things. So he's sharing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's fun about it is that we're sharing it just not to his community locally, but he's sharing it to the member community here at the exchange clubs.
All right. Thanks for the great discussion, JP. If you could leave one bit of advice for our membership about moving forward, what would that be?
Get involved. One of the things that we do have, and people will see on the platform, they see it today on the platform and they'll see it on the new platform, is the activity feed. And that's the ability to really share what you think and what you see with other members within the National Exchange Club. It's there, it's available, it's sharing of paper, it's sharing of documents and pictures, and it makes it fun, right? Mm-hmm. And the idea is that we want you to come back to our portal every day and say, hey, what did I miss? And being able to say, what great news did Christy say today? Or what advice did Tracy give us today? Because that in turn is super cool, right? Mm-hmm. We all go back to visit newspapers and online, but we'd like to have those folks come back and look at our portal and look at the activity feed and just get involved.
Great advice.
Absolutely. Now, JP, what would you say to somebody who says we have too much technology going on, or we don't need this technology going on? We don't need to worry about that.
That's a really good question. It's sometimes I think the same thing, but what's interesting is the technology is there to help us, right? It's there to help us make our lives better. It's there to give us information, because today in the society, we move fast, right? Mm-hmm. But what's interesting with the technology now, and especially how we've done it at the Exchange Club, is we've made it easy. We've made it easy to be able to share what we've done, right, with you as our members, because it's just so important that, we want to grow Exchange. We want to be able to give back to our communities, and technology helps you do that. I'll give one last example. Is I was talking to a member at the conference, and they spent 4 to 5 hours just searching for things on the site. And what we've built, we want to be able to do it in seconds, and that's technology at work. That's technology taking advantage of what we've built for the last 100 years, mm-hmm. and giving it to our members at their fingertips.
JP, it's also helped from another perspective in that members can submit forms. They can submit a donation. They can request something specific. And as opposed to waiting for that piece of paper to come into the mail, process it physically, and then send it back out in the mail, we can hit a button and that person will have the information they need in a matter of seconds.
Exactly.
I don't see that our society could ever go back to anything.
No.
And I'll even go one step further. We have some clubs that are using technology in that way, that they're collecting money from vendors for parades and members electronically through technology and getting it into their bank account without having to chase money, right?
That's right.
So if you in turn, you can spend tons of time to call on the phone and say, hey, where's our membership fees? Or you didn't pay for this booth and stuff like that. But if you make it available right there on the platform, it's so easy to do. And that's where technology is bringing us, and it's just going to get better and better. And as long as we make it easy, it's great.
Yep, it is. And I wish I had counted how many times you said easy during this program, because honestly, that's what it's about. All of this makes life easier, more enjoyable, more time to do other things that matter, right? But either we embrace technology or we get left behind. And really that's what's been so great to watch our members get excited about this and see the impact and the results in their club when they do take advantage of technology that's available.
We've eliminated planning. The tedious planning that goes into every project, and allowed our membership to go straight into execution.
That's right.
And I think that's been our overall goal, is how do we get people where they don't spend all the times on the phone and saying, how do I do this and how do I do that? It's super simple, because what we want them to do is go out and raise money so we can, do all these good things that we do.
Absolutely. Make a difference in the community.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your help in getting back to the important things, JP. You've made life so much easier for members and helping club officers become more efficient at their jobs, and your understanding of all of this. We admire it and we appreciate you. So thank you for being a great
Oh,
partner of Exchange.
it's been
And
my
member.
pleasure.
Absolutely. And a member. That's right. Absolutely.
I can actually recite how to be a president without having been one yet.
Nice. Well, we're looking forward to when that day comes. I'll come out and install you. That would be great.
Got to get our Las Vegas club going first. So.
Definitely. Well, thanks for listening to this episode of Talk Exchange. If you want to learn more, visit nationalexchangeclub.org. To learn more about JP and his company, visit kolena.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo!
You made that way too easy.
Oh.